is up, everybody? Welcome to our brand new show called Rank This, where we rank anything and everything that you guys want to see. You already know, your boy Dave Fraze over here, right over there.
Swag those guys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show.
So, today we decided to start with some Power Rangers because in the heart, I'm always going to be that kid that loves Power Rangers, no matter what day it is, no matter when. So that's one thing that I can say. Power Rangers is for life.
Oh yeah, bro. I grew up watching Power Rangers, man. I mean, the original Mighty Morphin came out when I was a kid, and I remember dressing up as the White Ranger and going to see like a live performance of them.
I want that White Ranger.
Bro, I even had the Blue Ranger come to one of my birthday parties when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So
that's so nice, man.
Deep place in my heart. These series,
absolutely, guys.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, with Stone Power Rangers, I want to say rest in peace to Jason David Frank. My first hero. Definitely my first real hero.
First real hero you looked up to, right? Like, yeah,
that's
the
a fact.
And he was every Ranger. He wasn't just the Green Ranger, the White Ranger, the Black Ranger. I mean, he was everything. He's a Red Ranger. He's been the Ranger. He was the Power Ranger. So
absolutely,
yeah, mad respect, guys. I'm sad to see him go, but
absolutely, man. Whew. So, guys, let's get
kick
down.
It off.
Let's go with our number 10. What Power Rangers do you got at your number 10? Because of mine, I feel like it's going to blow everybody away. So, wait, guys, before we get to this, guys, everybody is allowed your own opinion. So, guys, get in your comment section, put your top 10. And whatever top 10 you think is better out of me and Swag, because y'all know I'm trying to kick his butt. I'm trying to kick his butt. But I think my top 10 is better, even though I don't even know his yet.
We're a bunch of old heads. Mine are all old brothers. So, but yeah, man, I'll kick it off of mine, and mine is actually going to be Power Rangers Turbo
for number 10. Power Rangers
number 10.
Woo! I feel like that's a hot take because I feel like Turbo is very, very slept on.
It is,
and it's very overhated.
It is overhated, and I think the main reason is because they made the Blue Ranger a kid, and I was like, but that was every kid's dream, right?
I loved it.
To be a Power Ranger as a kid and be able to fight alongside these adults or teenage kids that were fighting. Like that was every kid's dream. That was my dream growing up. So that was one reason I loved the show. But honestly, the cast of villains in Turbo, I think, is completely underrated. Like we have an actual superpower in Turbo in Malagor, right? And who needs to be resurrected, right? And that's the whole show is Divatox trying to resurrect Malagor, and the Zeo Rangers and the Zeo crystals just weren't strong enough. They just weren't strong enough, so they had to upgrade.
No, that's the only thing that don't make sense with me. Is because remember, the Zeo crystals get stronger over time. That's the only thing that didn't make sense before that.
But they never faced an evil as big and as great as Malagor, right? Like they never had to fight. You're seeing them fight Lord Zed and Lord Zed's minions and Rita's minions and all the way through Zeo, we're seeing small amounts of evil. And really, once we get to Turbo, we see this giant shift where we to get a superpower evil, right? Then we get things like Time Force, where now time travels come into this, right? And we're getting more powerful villains that keep progressing and progressing, but this series was where that all originated, and that's why I think it belongs on a top 10.
I like Turbo at 10, but my number 10 is really going to take it. I feel like mine is going to be like another one that I feel like is really overhated. Those are cars and vehicles as well. Operation Overdrive. I feel like Operation Overdrive is very underrated because it's like this: you got Power Rangers, and then we got the world. Basically, Indiana Jones. You're just going. You're like on an adventure. You're exploring. They're looking for the crystals for the crown, the Corona Aurora. And I thought that, like, watching that whole thing to me was just great. It was fun. It was a fun adventure. The whole story behind it was good. It wasn't the best story, but it was fun. I feel like if it took the Power Ranger aspect away, people would like it a lot more. But to me, I enjoyed it as a Power Ranger show. And with Mac being a robot in the end, I thought that was cool.
That was a twist. Cool. That was a big twist, right?
Because I feel like as a kid, especially as a kid watching it, you don't see it coming. You're like, what's going on? Why is he repeating that?
Yeah. You have no idea.
It was definitely... I like Operation Overdrive at 10. I feel like it fits there.
Yeah, I do think that's a good 10. It's a little more slept on than most, but we get Lord Zed back, right, in Operation Overdrive. Like, that was cool.
Wait, was it like his son or something?
Yeah.
Or the Once a Ranger?
Yeah, it was something like that. But it was like a spawn or something that involved his family, right? So like it was kind of a callback to the original,
and I
which
love
is
that.
super dope. Like I love that kind of stuff. So no, that was a cool little twist on it. I don't know. I think that there's just a lot that is slept on in that series as well. So I think it's a good 10. It's a good 10. I'll take it.
I feel like both of our 10s, it fits as a 10.
I'll take
it's like right there in the middle since how many shows it fits perfect.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
What you got number 9, bro?
So my number 9 is actually going to be Mystic Force. Mystic Force. I'm huge. I'm huge into like the magic kind of scene, and I really like Lord of the Rings style stuff. And I think that this series really captured that kind of essence in it. But the Ranger cast in Mystic Force is great. Like Xander Bly is an amazing Green Ranger.
To me, that was he was the star. The star of that team. Xander was the star.
Easily, but then we get like different breeds, right? Like we get the Wolf Warrior, and we get the Solaris Night Ranger, and there was just so much different aspects and different powers that we get to see because of the magic being involved in it. I thought it was just kind of cool. Like it took Power Rangers who were just kids that were fighting, and they got maybe a suit that made them a little more powerful and gave them extra strength, and actually took them to a world where they had strength, magic, and a skill set. So it was kind of cool. I think that it was a cool thing to see, and again, their Ranger cast was just outstanding, and the amount of Rangers they got within the show. I mean, I think there was 8 total. I want to say 7 or 8 total Rangers that they had. So like that was one of the bigger casts that we got to see, and
because had the White Ranger. She was like the snow.
Yeah. They had Mystic White because it was just the original 4 or 5. It was red, yellow, pink, teal, and green. Then we got Wife, we got the Solar Knight, and then we got the Wolf Warrior, which was just fucking sick.
See, look, I'm about to say I didn't put Mystic Force on my list because it was close with Operation Overdrive with me. Because to me, sometimes it had a little bit of cheesy moments, and I guess growing up, seeing some of it again, I'm like, but yeah. No, I respect that choice right there. I like it.
I do too. I like it. What you got?
I got Samurai at number 9.
Ooh, all right. It's a little low on the list. But all right.
I know that's why I said my list is a little different because I have my reasons, of course. There's reasonings why I put certain things in the area. I got Samurai at number 9 because honestly, the first half of Samurai, like there was Samurai and Super Samurai. Super Samurai, I did actually enjoy a lot because I feel like Samurai was really just building up. Half of it was really a lot of a build up, and then once the Gold Ranger Antonio came in, once his sister came in, what's her name, Lauren? Once she came in,
I think so.
To me, that just like the whole show shifted. And it was just sick. The villain on there, that one dude, I forgot his name. Wasn't it the Red Ranger from freaking Wild Force? Wasn't that the person that plays him?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like his character.
I would say that's who plays him.
Trying to find the villains right now, as a matter of fact.
I forgot his name because I remember watching it because I was actually getting out of Power Rangers for a while because it was getting. Once everything changed, I was like, oh, it's not the same. And I gave it a chance and watched Samurai. I was like, oh, Samurai got some action.
He was like the demon. He was like a demon warrior, essentially.
Yeah.
He
always wanted to fight. I forgot the Red Ranger's name. I remember his sister's name.
It's Jaden.
Yeah, whatever.
Jaden.
He always wanted to fight Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden. Yeah, because they just had like this bond. I think it had to do with him being the Red Ranger or something like that too. Like he was drawn to the Red Ranger. So it was. I don't know, man. Samurai was a cool series for me. It is on my list. It's a little higher than number 9. But Samurai was a cool series. Like their swords, like and the weapons that they got in Samurai were cool for me. So I'll talk about that here in a second.
Yeah, so we'll leave Samurai for you then, because we'll go on to the next one. What you got at your number 8?
So my number 8, and I said I didn't like this one earlier, but I actually did some thinking and looking at it, and my number 8 is going to be Lightspeed Rescue.
Well, I guess I could cut in. My number 8 is Lightspeed Rescue as well.
Yeah, I mean, so Lightspeed Rescue, like the Rangers were okay. It was a fun series, but Queen Banshee was just like a sick.
I think it was Banshira or something.
Banshira, yeah. Banshira. I think it's Banshira, yeah. Yeah, and then she has like her ultimate form where she gets the wings and like kind of turns to like almost like a Valkyrie from Norse mythology.
That ending, I love that finale.
Yeah, it was just
That
a
finale
really
was
really
hot.
great series.
Yeah, and it switched to the demon side, and a lot of people like no Power Rangers was about like, oh yeah, these demons that are coming up to Earth. So I feel like that's what really got me on that. And I was a kid, so that was one of the first Power Ranger series I actually watched that was on par with my time.
Yeah, I think that was. I mean, like you said, the way that they tie in, and it's kind of cool because they do like the Pokemon kind of thing where they like every generation is really based off of some mythos. And that's what I think they did really well with Lightspeed Rescue was like you said, bringing in that more demonic side, kind of shifting Power Rangers because they knew at this time, right? This is what six generations of Power Rangers later, like their core fan base are becoming teenagers, adults.
Absolutely.
So they had to,
I
didn't
think of it like that. That's the smartest thing they did. I didn't even think of it like that.
They had to make the show a little darker. They had to kind of bring it in and like just kind of bring in that same fan base while still catering to the kid base and bringing in them and trying to bring in new viewership. So it was like a good cross, I think, and that's why it's on my list at number 8 because it was a good cross between being kid friendly and kind of appealing to the adult and the teenage fan base that have grown up with Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo, and so on. You know what I mean? So that's why it's there on 8 for me. But what do you got? I know you got a little bit to say on that too.
I was just thinking, don't forget, that's where we got our first actual American Power Ranger, which was the Titanium Ranger. It's not in no type of Japanese or anything. It's pure American. He was probably one of the most badass characters. I wish we got more of him on screen, but Ryan was like that. I wanted to be him so bad every time I see him on screen. Like he's so cool. I want to be him.
Because he was the bad boy ranger, right? He was the ranger that was like, he smoldered. He always had smolder face, and like, he was like the bad boy. He was the fucking guy from Breakfast Club that everybody hated because he was like the burner. You know what I mean? Like that was Ryan Mitchell, like the burner ranger.
Yeah, he was my favorite for a long time. But I have a thing for Sixth Rangers, man. Being a Sixth Ranger. If you're a Power Ranger, you want to be the Sixth Ranger.
You do, because the Sixth Ranger is always the best. Doug, the Green Ranger, hands down, like, killed it. Then he became the White Ranger, like, then...
it just kept going
it just crazy. Keeps going, like, when you get the Silvers, the Whites, they're always the sickest Ranger after, because it's like a combination of a hidden power that could have never been seen, right? So, and come on, Titanium. When have we ever had a color Titanium?
That's what I'm saying.
In Rangers.
It's cold.
Titanium? Let's go. Come on.
He first want to say titanium power, dude. This thing is turned up. Let's get to the next one.
Come on. So, kicking it down the list a little bit, this is where my number 7 is going to come in.
Are we on number 7?
Yeah, because both of our number 8s were the same. Both of our 8s were the same. Yep. So my 7 is Samurai.
Okay.
And the reason I put Samurai a little bit higher on the list is one, I thought it was cool how they took Power Rangers and made it more of like a warrior-based show, right? So in Samurai, I feel like they kind of took it from being more of like a police, more policing the universe or the multiverse kind of thing, and it became about being like an actual warrior, like we're Samurai Rangers. Like they had a training camp. There wasn't just the Rangers, like it was a home base for Rangers to be trained and become the next line of Rangers. It was a lineage thing, right? So I thought that was a real cool concept, right? Plus all their weapons were based off of real samurai weapons. So we had like samurai swords, you had katanas, you had pole arms, you had fucking nunchucks, you had Sudoku, like you had everything, and it was just really cool how they tied the Japanese samurai culture into like a Rangers kind of style thing. And then again with the villains, like it's really cool because they're all based off of Japanese mythos, like Japanese demons that are coming up from, like you said, hell to take over the world again.
That's what definitely changes everything. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe since I'm huge at like being a horror fan and stuff, like horror genre, just knowing the little demons and stuff coming up, it just fits perfectly. It works out.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool because then we got Forever Red a little bit after this, right? We got to see 2 different Red Rangers in the same series that were siblings and like kind of got to see that shift in power. Like it was just cool, like a different take on Rangers for me. So that's why it's up at 7 for me. But
I like that. I respect it. My
what you got for 7?
So, I don't. All right, it's talking about heart to have this at number 7 because that just shows like how good the Power Ranger shows really are. At number 7, I have. I'm switching my number 7 to number 6. At number 7, I have Lost Galaxy. It is so hard even putting that right there because that just tells you how good and how crazy and in-depth Power Rangers get. So Lost Galaxy, I'll never forget just watching the beginning of it, because it's like a whole different show. Like you're not familiar with none of these characters. It's just completely different. You see Leo, he's a stowaway trying to get on a spaceship to get out of there from Earth. And it was just, everything about it was amazing. And then once they got to the Quasar Sabers, they got about the rock. Even though it wasn't Leo to get the Ray Quasar Saber, it was Mike. But how they had it where everybody thought Mike died. I feel like Lost Galaxy was the first Power Rangers where it actually took more of an adultish turn. Because you got Death in there twice. You got Mike technically died at the beginning, but being resurrected back by the Magna Defender. And then later on, you got the Pink Ranger. I forgot her name. Kendricks.
It's Kendricks.
Yeah. Kendricks dying. Actually dying, but she comes back officially at the end. But
she's not herself, right? She's like a different person or a different spirit. Isn't that what happens? Or
I don't remember. I think it was her the whole time because I know when she switched over, she gave the powers to Karone.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and which that's crazy because Karone went from astronomer, from the big bad villain in space, to coming over because she was Andrew's sister, to becoming a Power Ranger in the end. So I like that. Lost Galaxy, bro. It's so hard thinking about these shows. Having it even like right there is like it's hurting, but I'm like, the other ones I understand why I have it ahead. But that's what I got there. Lost Galaxy. I feel like that's perfect number 7 for me.
Yeah. Okay. I could dig it. So my number 6 is gonna be Power Rangers in Space.
Ooh.
Number 6, Power Rangers in Space. And I honestly, In Space was there for me because I kind of felt like I really dug it. I really dug that it was still continuing on to like the Zeo and the Turbo stories. The Rangers get to leave Earth and kind of go into this space setting again, which was super sick. But I felt like it was kind of like a filler. And it was like a trailer for me. Like it was kind of trailing off of the series. And that's why, like you said, in Lost Galaxy, it's the first time where they actually took Power Rangers and flipped it to a whole new cast, right? So they axed all the old Rangers, and now we got a new directive of Rangers, a whole new set. And that's kind of what I felt was happening in Space. Like it was a great series. We had great villains. We had a great show the whole way through, but it was kind of like an end of an era to usher in a new.
Yeah, having Space really high on my side. Talking about it too much.
I dig Space. I think the Ranger cast was great. Again, bringing them back over. We have Karone, which she was an amazing Ranger, turned evil, and again, like you said, comes back in Galaxy, gets to be a Pink Ranger again, and it's just a great story, especially having the Dark Fortress and everything. So I think Space was a really good one for me, but it just wasn't good enough to put it at the top because I felt again like it was one of those ones where the series started off strong because it brought in old characters and then they trailed off.
It ended really strong. No, it ended really strong. Yeah, that's why when I get to mine, I'll explain it.
I think it kind of trailed. To me, it doesn't have the same pack because they wanted to send off the characters, but I feel like they could have sent the characters off just a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's at 6 for me.
No, I definitely understand. I respect that too. I like it. My number 6. I also hate having this at my number 6 because it's breaking my heart seeing this at number 6. Ninja Storm. Oh man, Ninja Storm was another one where it was just like we had one thing because every year we had a crossover with the Rangers before, but Ninja Storm we didn't get that. We didn't get the Wild Force Rangers coming over to Ninja Storm. Ninja Storm was just the team that they ain't nobody. They was turned up. We had the Wind Rangers, we had the Thunder Rangers, and then we had the Green Samurai Rangers. Bro, I always wanted to be like. Usually, I want to be the Sixth Ranger. I want to be green, but I don't know that navy blue Thunder Ranger. I wanted his suit. I don't know. Maybe since blue was my favorite color, but he was badass. And then him and his brother, they had their bikes. It was just all of them did a little racing on bikes, but they was just cool. The whole Thunder thing.
Yeah, that dark blue was pretty fuego. I do like the light blue suit a little more, but that dark blue suit was that dark blue suit was pretty fuego.
Bro, the finale was probably one of the coldest ones because it was the same way. All of them that basically most of the I don't know they weren't demons. I don't know what they were considered. Maybe they was. I don't know. It was all of Luthor's.
Yeah, Luthor's people. He kind of reminds me of like a Bane, bro. Like
Luthor.
Like a luchador.
He was a good villain. He was a good villain because he had his comical moments. And then what was it? His daughters. Where does his daughter? No, this is his nieces.
No, Mara and Capri. Yeah,
bro. Yeah. Like I'm thinking about it because I haven't watched it in a long time. But this is one of those shows that I know if I watch it right now, I'm gonna be able to sit through every episodes. And then all their Megazord combinations were badass.
That was badass
Megazord combinations, and it was just with the same ones. They had the same basic 6, and it was just cool. And the music that play on, it'd be it was so crazy.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's definitely a little more overrated, or a little more. Now that you talked about it, like it makes me a little more excited to watch it. But I wasn't a huge fan of.
It's because like. Just like I said, like with Wild Force and stuff, they was connected to the other Rangers before. This one, it was like they were just completely branched off, and I feel like this was the start of another new era because it was from there. Then we got the Rangers ahead.
So, yeah, because we never get to see, like you said, this was the first one where they didn't have a crossover. Like they didn't have the Rangers come back and
Wild Force Rangers didn't come over.
Yeah, and kind of do anything. So that was kind of interesting.
That's what made the finale so good because when Shane put that battle laser on and started fighting all of them bad guys by himself, and it was all just at full on war with the villains.
Yeah, Shane was a tight Red Ranger too. Shane was a really good Red Ranger.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, man. Ninja Storm, I got it right there.
I like it.
I wish it was a little bit higher, but honestly, my top 5, I could go so many different ways. So while you talk about your number 5, I'm about to switch up my top 5.
So my number 5 is Power Rangers Dino Thunder, and Dino Thunder to me was just a huge turning point. Like it was really the first time we seen Tommy Oliver come back, right? And like that's a huge nostalgia factor for me. Like seeing one of your OG, like I said, that was my hero when I grew up. Like he was the first hero you thought of. So seeing him come back was like super super sick. I think their Ranger cast was awesome with Connor's Red Ranger. We had Ethan at the blue, and then Kira, definitely one of my favorite Yellow Rangers. Like just her personality and the way that she carried herself and the way she fought and what she fought for. Like I just loved Kira's character. And then obviously Trent like coming in with the white and we get to see Tommy come back. Like the black Dino Ranger outfit was just
so crazy.
Like, and he gets to like join the cast that he's leading. Like he's teaching you guys how to be Rangers. He's your Zordon, and your Zordon gets to fight with you. Like, come on. Like
that's what makes it so crazy. Yeah,
it blew my mind, man. Their villains were awesome. Like the villain, like that dinosaur, like kind of raptor, like almost like kind of like Bowser looking guy. Like
I forgot his name. Mesogog.
Mesogog, yeah. Mesogog, Zeltrax. Like Zeltrax was badass.
I like Zeltrax. Zeltrax was a good villain. It was always him versus Tommy.
Yeah, Zeltrax was badass. Like he was like Zeltrax was like a ranger. Like, and that's what made it so cool. Is like they weren't just fighting like overpowered monsters or anything. Like they actually fought people that were similar to rangers. And it was like one of the first times we really got to see that aspect of it. Besides Tommy fighting the other ranger, like in the original series. So to me, that's why Dino Thunder always holds a special place in my heart, man. Again, for Jason David Frank coming back and fucking killing it again as the Black Ranger. So
absolutely.
I don't think it deserved to be up in the top 3, but it definitely takes a place in top 5.
I think definitely top 3 for sure. Definitely top 3 for sure.
Oh, that's funny. Right, but their Zord had a glider, so I don't know. Their Zord did have its own glider.
Hey, that was only one of Bro, they had all the different dinosaurs I could connect on.
Yeah.
All right, my number 5. It hurts me to put this at number 5, but I gotta do it. In Space is my number 5. So I got In Space at number 5 because I feel like there was more in depth to it. Because for one, it's our first time meeting Andros, and the other Rangers get up there. He's like, "Oh, he shot whoop on up because what y'all doing on my ship?" And it was just like, it was more. It had the love story too, didn't it? He was with the Yellow Ranger. That's the first time we seen a red and yellow. I just realized that. Usually red and pink.
Yeah, it's usually red and pink, but nobody wanted to be with Cassie Chan, bro.
I did.
Cassie Chan, yeah,
I
right.
did.
Yeah,
I really did.
Oh, you know what?
But In Space, I feel like it was the finale that really did it. I forgot who was the big villain on there because it was the same as from Turbo. He looked the same, but they were just different names.
No, Divatox was in Turbo.
No, it's all that magma dude. He was in Space.
Mount Melagor.
Was his name there in this space? I think his name was different though, because I don't think it was the same person. Because he was talking and all, and he was just normal.
Well, there was a huge crossover. Dark Spectre. No, it's Dark Spectre.
That was and they were basically the same person. That's what was always
they look exactly the same. Yeah.
And then this is the first time we had to see Zordon actually go out, where he had to die, and Andros had to take over and do it himself, which was a hurt piece.
It was tight though, because we did see so many crossovers in that series. I do remember that. Like that was pretty awesome.
Adam came back to be the Black Ranger for an episode. He morphed even though Alpha was telling him, "Don't do it, Adam. You can hit yourself."
Yeah, well, we got Blue Centauron came back because he started in Turbo, right? So we got Blue Centauron in Turbo, comes back in Space, which was tight.
The Blue Ranger was in space.
Yeah. Justin was in space. Came, we had Trey.
Remember him and TJ?
Trey. We had
he put his hands up on TJ. He's like,
TJ was pissed because he was a Blue Ranger too. But also we had the Gold Zeo Ranger, right? Trey came back, like that was sick.
Oh, I don't even remember that part, but now I'm thinking about it, he did. Yeah.
Trey comes back, bro. It's tight, bro. Like, it was a good. Space was a good series. Space was a really good series.
It's about top 5 because that has a real special place in my heart too.
Oh, and the Psycho Rangers, bro. I forgot about those.
You forgot the Psycho Rangers? That's where they first appeared.
I forgot about the Psycho Rangers. They come out in Lost Galaxy, I thought. Oh no,
Lost
Space and Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, they returned. And the Space Rangers returned in Lost Galaxy.
Yeah. That was the
Psycho Rangers,
bro.
Top tier. That's why when you had in your spot, I was like, I feel like a little bit higher because there is a lot of good parts in there, a lot of good feats.
I forgot about the Psycho Rangers, but that shit wasn't. The Psycho Rangers are nasty.
Yeah, that's
nasty.
Well, yeah, I got this one number 5. Let's go to number 4. Which guy's number 4, bro?
Number 4 is gonna be Power Rangers Zeo.
Well, we agree. I guess Zeo is number 4 as well.
Power Rangers Zeo number 4.
It was hard. I almost had it at number 2.
Yeah, but it was cool because, like I said, that was the first time we left Earth, right? We got to leave Earth. The Power Rangers, like, we had that big decision. It's like, are you guys gonna stay here? Or are you gonna leave? Like, who's gonna go into space and be a Power Ranger still, and who's gonna stay on Earth and not be a Power Ranger anymore? And it was just cool to see, man. It was cool to see Tommy finally become a Red Ranger, right? Tommy gets to be the Red Ranger, gets to lead the crew in the official sense of being the color that's the leader of the gang.
Yeah, I feel like the star was definitely Trey at Triforia, though. He was the star,
yeah. Trey is like nasty, bro. Plus, then you get so many different Gold Rangers, right? Like Jason gets to come back. Jason comes back and is a Gold Ranger. Like it is just nasty, bro. Like Catherine was a great Pink Ranger. She took over Kimberly's spot well. Rocky gets to stay and he steps down, right?
He goes to Blue.
We get to, but that was cool, right? Like we get to see that. Like that was always the biggest thing in the Rangers, right? With the power struggle for a leader. Who's gonna lead the group? Who's gonna and we seen it when Rocky was the Red Ranger, right? Rocky gets to be the Red Ranger, and we could see that his leadership just kind of faltered. He just wasn't up to the task. So it's cool to see him actually step down, right? And we get to see that aspect of humanity and of Rangers being having humility and being able to admit, like, yo, dude, like, Tommy, you're fucking the man. Like,
and then don't forget, Tommy even got brainwashed too. And remember towards the end, he got brainwashed. He has fighting.
Yeah, of course. Like King Mondo is nasty, bro. Like King Mondo is a great villain.
And then
Like
Alien Rangers came back for episode or two.
mm-hmm.
We had no, actually they was in there for a little bit because I think Billy had an issue where he started aging or something really fast, and they had to help him.
Yeah, but it's yeah, I hate that they're the Alien Rangers, man.
I don't think it makes sense because anybody could be like
but I get it.
Andros is an alien ranger. He's
yeah,
not from he's from what, Kepler or something? Ain't that their planet?
No, it's oh yeah.
I think it is Kepler.
Yeah, it is Kepler. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got Zeo in the right spot. Just like you said, Tommy, Red Ranger, and I don't know, something about the Red Ranger from Zeo. I always wanted that costume. I don't know what it is.
Bro,
Maybe it's just a star on a helmet. I don't know.
It's the star in his face. Like it's
I don't know what it is.
It's the star on his face, bro. Like that was just so nasty, right? Like everybody had the same helmet up until then. Like everybody had the same helmet design, and Zeo was the one that, like, granted, yeah, the Mastodon had the Mastodon hooves, right? And it was a Tyrannosaurus helm, but their concept was the same. It was a visor, it was a helmet, it had a mouthpiece. This is the first one we wipe mouthpieces completely. You don't have a mouthpiece at all. So it's just flat, just sleek, flush, and everybody got their own design. Everybody got their morpher. Their morpher got their own design.
Like, they had both wrists. Oh, bro, I love that morpher. Bro, if I could get a replica of it, I'm going to get one eventually. I swear.
Sick. So sick. So,
we in the top 3 now.
Top 3 time, baby. All right. So my number 3.
Wait. Before we get to top 3, guys, make sure to drop that and comment whose list you think is killing it. I think both of our lists is killing it. I enjoy Swag's list a lot.
I do too. I honestly think that we got and a lot of them are similar, right? Like we got some good similarities in there. Like we both have great. Like I love your reasoning behind where you're putting things. Like it totally clicks in my mind. So I could totally see like space. I could totally see I probably could have put that a little higher on my list. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's get our number 3 spot.
So my number 3 is Time Force. Time Force at number 3. Obviously, my top 5 are behind me, so you guys can see my top 5. I don't know what order they're in, but my top 5 are behind me. But 3 is going to be Time Force 1, purely for the fact of time travel. Like time travel is a huge thing for me. So I truly, truly love if we see alternate dimensions and time travel stuff in the show, blew my mind away. The fact that the villains came from the future to the past and tried to, just kind of create their villainy in every different era we could expect. Like it was so cool to see Rangers hopping through eras and fighting and taking out different villains that went with that era. It was really, really just really, really dope. But it was also
top 3 is perfect.
Oh yeah. I think that's exactly where it belongs.
Perfect.
I think it's exactly where it belongs. This was the final series that we got on 4Kids TV. So it was like the last time that we got to see what the Power Rangers were like when they were originally established. Like then we had the shift because it was bought out by Disney, right? So
was it still Saban at the time, or was it already bought out by Saban before that?
No. Saban is the originator. So like Saban, or Saban. Sorry, Saban is who?
Saban? I thought it was Saban.
No, it's Saban. It's Saban, and they're who's the creator, right? Like they're the Marvel behind the characters.
Okay.
4Kids TV had the rights. They were the producers. They were the production company of the show. They filmed. They did all that shit, right? They wrote for it. Kind of took it from there.
Okay.
But that was the last. This series, Time Force, was the last time before Wild Force where we got to see how it originally was produced. Before Disney took over, and it became kind of, like you said, like we've been talking about, a little more corny. Some of the kid-friendlier stuff went in there. Yeah. Things like that. So it was just great for me. We had pretty much, it was a dual Red Ranger, right? The Quantum Ranger's pretty much a Red Ranger.
It was amazing.
But, I mean, it was nasty, right? And the concept of the Quantum Morpher, and I love their morphers. They were like the time shift keys almost, right? And they would just and they like turn it, and like it was just dope, bro. Like I enjoyed it. It reminded me a lot of the Turbo Morphers, but like on a whole nother cosmic level. I loved it. We had, our additional Rangers, our Silver and our Black. It was it was just dope, dude. It was a cool thing to see. The villains were great. The mutants were awesome. Like Frax. Frax is one of my all-time favorite villains.
Hold on, brother. Wait. I don't think we had additional Rangers in there. I don't think there was Silver and Black. There wasn't.
Yeah, Time Force Silver and Time Force Black, bro. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
There was.
yeah. Joe was the silver, and Sarah was the black.
Did it go on the show or was that a comment?
It might have been just I watch them all, bro. It could have been the Japanese version, but
Okay, yeah, because
there was a silver and black, bro, and they were nasty. You gotta look it up.
Yeah, I believe it because I remember seeing a picture on it, but I thought it was in the comics where I seen it. I didn't see it on the show.
Well, yeah. So Joe is I don't know if you remember Hyperforce, but Marvin Shee.
No.
From Hyperforce, he's the Hyperforce Red. Is Marvin?
Okay,
and Joe is his older brother, and was at the Silver Time Force. So it was just cool, man. Like I said, Frax, like I love Frax. Frax was one of the better side villains, like.
But it's crazy because he's a sad villain, but low key the main villain.
Yeah, I love Frax.
So cool, yeah.
Like Frax was more like villain to me in that series than Rancic. Like Rancic was cool, like, but I was just like, he was just like a corny version of a villain. Like he was still too human for me. That was the thing about the Power Ranger villain. Like I loved when they were
just different.
Just different, like Zed, or like even Rita had her own twist on humanity, right? And we had Meligog, and there was just so many different like demon type villains that when you see a villain that's, I mean, he's half cyborg, right? He's supposed to be half cyborg. He's from the future. That was his thing.
Thought he was a full-on robot, but he really wasn't.
Yeah, he was a cyborg, and it just didn't do it for me. That's why I like Frax. Like you said, Frax was just my boy. Like
I have a lot to talk on Time Force. It's up on my list a little higher.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I love me some Time Force, man. What you got at 3?
Number 3. You're not gonna like my number 3, because if I'm thinking correctly, my number 3 is definitely your number 1. My number 3 is Mighty Morphin. So I have Mighty Morphin at number 3. Just because I feel like that was the foundation for Power Rangers. That is the holder. That is where Power Rangers, like, this is what we all started with. And I feel like the shows that I have after that is like a true evolution from Mighty Morphin. So, of course, we get the Green Ranger and Tommy Oliver. We all wanted to be the Green Ranger. To this day, I still want to be the Green Ranger. Actually, no, I want to be the White Ranger, no lie. Because that White Ranger fit was drippy. And you get the, Saba. Wasn't it Saber Saba?
Mm-hmm.
Saba, I love Saba, man. Saba was something else. And then you get the White Tiger Zord. Even though he goes to the Falcon Zord, I always wish that they would bring the White Tiger Zord. He get to put all his Zords together. Just imagine the Falcon Zord, the Tiger Zord, and the Dragon Zord all in one. Bro, I be imagining these things. I used to when I was a kid. I was like, just imagine if he got to use all his Zords only.
He should have, bro. He should have been able to tap into his old powers and bring like the Tiger Zord over to his Dino Thunder Zord. Like, come on.
Look, I know I'm supposed to be talking about why it's at my number 3, but this is what I gotta say real quick. I feel like they probably were trying to do something with that because, like, in the comics, he got the Master Morpher. And I'm thinking with the Master Morpher, they had to restore everything. They had to restore all his because he has all his powers.
He does.
He could morph into all the Power Rangers he was, and that's including the Turbo Ranger. If he would have go to that, go to all of them, all 5 of them. So he got to be able to do something like, be like, you know what? Y'all want to get big? Let me show y'all what a big Megazord look like. Pull out the Black Ranger sword, go with all of them on there.
That would have been. It would have been tight, man. That would have been so good.
And that's a fact, man. But yeah, I got Mighty Morphin here because I feel like, to me personally, since it had 3 seasons, it was the first season that probably stood out the most for me as the best season of the 3. The second season, I feel like it's that where Tommy first became the White Ranger.
He's green for a while. Yeah, he becomes the White Ranger in the movie, bro. He becomes the White Ranger in I believe it's in the Power Ranger movie, right? The
Power Ranger movie. It's where he had the other team, so he was already the White Ranger. So it was.
It's just before that, bro. It's not very long before the movie, though.
Yeah, I want to say it was either season 2, because the way the movie and the TV show, excuse me, movie and TV show, it was like they just changed it up. They put Ivan Ooze in instead of the Ninja War scene, and they put that one lady in. So it was similar. It was just right before they got their ninja powers, just different stories.
Yeah.
So I think the movie's not canon, and then TV shows canon on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I feel like
exactly.
I didn't really like when they became the Ninja Rangers.
I didn't either.
I feel like that's the only reason why I'm putting it at number 3. So when they became the Ninja Rangers, I didn't like that. When they had that Thunder Sword though, their thunder powers was everything. I loved when they would switch over from the original powers to the Red Ranger Thunder Sword, that Red Dragon, and I love that. I wish they'd have just kept that around. I mean, I feel like even their Shogun Zords is cool too. I feel like their Zords, they had many Zords, and that was another story reason why I'm so crazy.
Yeah, the Frog Zord, like they had the Mastodon. They did the Mighty Morphin went through quite a few changes.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I wish when you have all them Zords, you could put just your color alone, make your own little Zord with just your color. You know, sick that would be. Why they do this? But yeah, I really don't. I mean, I'm gonna let you go on Mighty Morphin because I know you got stuff really more in depth. I'm gonna keep mine at number 3. Whenever your stuff's higher, I'll let you go. Yeah, number 3, Mighty Morphin. Let's get to number 2.
My number 2 is Lost Galaxy.
Okay.
So my number 2 is gonna be Lost Galaxy.
I had Lost Galaxy at 5, but I love Lost Galaxy too. Bro.
I love Lost. It was one of the best intro songs, one of the best intro theme songs that they had in the Power Rangers series, hands down. Quote me on that.
No, it's facts. It's up there. Ninja Storm might be better though.
Ninja Storm was good, but Lost Galaxy was the best. The Ranger cast was awesome. Like I said, it was the first time. Like, I mean, we already talked about this, right? It's the first time we got
that was my girl.
Brand new set of Rangers. Like this had nothing to do with the first set of Rangers, right? It was also one of the very first times that we got to see the crossover, right? Space come into Lost Galaxy. Before we didn't really see that. Like we seen Rangers drop in and out. We seen there were new Rangers, right? But nobody really ever came back to help.
And that's what sucked when nobody came back.
because even in Turbo, yes, Jason and Kimberly were in it, but they weren't Rangers at the time. Their powers had been taken. They didn't have the Ranger powers. That's why they got captured. So it was like the first time that I remember seeing like an actual Ranger team come over to help another Ranger team, and that's when like the multiverse of Rangers branched out. We never got to hear about the morphing grid yet, but we kind of had an inclinance and just like kind of hints towards that there's a morphing grid.
We know a little bit on it. Yeah,
there's a better, a bigger world out there, and that's what we got in Lost Galaxy. That was one of the biggest things for me. Like I'm huge on multiversal thing, like what Marvel did with the multiverse and how everything connects. That's huge in a series, and we can see how that stemmed from shows like Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, like the first time we got to see that. Plus we get to see the Psycho Rangers again, right? Like this is where I really remember them from. I don't remember them
from his space,
but this is where I truly remember the Psycho Rangers.
They was whooping ass in space, bro.
Like they spread. Plus we had Scorpius. Like Scorpius was a great villain. We had like there was so many different people. Like it was cool because they were like this is when it was based off of like that spider era vibe. Like they had like they did dinosaurs. These were all like arachnid type villains. So like it was kind of cool to see. Like
and then their Galactic Beast Zords, I loved them. And then every time they had the 5 different ones. There was some 2 Galactic Zords. There was the red one and the blue one. I forgot about those. I just thought about it. I was like, bro, this is cool too.
Yeah, and then the Quasar sabers, when they pull the saber, like they had to go Sword in the Stone Quasar sabers out to be stronger.
And then like, when they got extra power, the Lights of Orion. I forgot about the Lights of Orion. They had those powers.
Like it was just dope, man. Like they were just all over. Their ship was tight, like their home base ship, the Astro.
They had the Space Rangers.
The Astro Mega ship. Like, dude, it was so sick, man. Like. It was so tight. Their weapon combination when they made their like Ranger weapon and they combined it all their side, like it was one of the best ones. Like it was cold, man. Lost Galaxy number 2.
You know what I'm thinking about on Lost Galaxy?
Love it.
The Morphers, the Space Rangers Morphers was on their ship the whole time and they didn't even know it.
Oh yeah,
they didn't even know it because in the crossover they went over.
That's when they get. Yeah, that's how they got their powers back, right? Plus, it wasn't Alpha 5 anymore, right? We had Alpha 6.
Yeah,
Like Alpha 6 was dope. Alpha 5 always has a special place in my heart, but Alpha 6 was dope. So
every Alpha cool. that update.
It was cool, man. Plus Zika, man. Zika and the Magna Defender, like it's the first time we got to see something like that. And
his son.
Like
his son was Zika, right?
Yeah, and then the Ranger power like being passed, right? Like he passed his power to Mike, like
but it saved his life. It saved him.
It was tight, man. Galaxy, I mean, it just has a special place for me. So
I feel it. That's why I say this. Like these lists are very, very hard. That's when you think about it. You're like, oh man, I forgot about that part. Then you think about it. Oh, there you go. Woo. So we're on number 2. You ready for my number 2?
Yeah.
Time Force. My number 2 is Time Force.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good number 2. It's a great number 2.
Yeah, just right at number 3. That's what I'm saying. We right there.
Yeah, it's a great number 2.
Time Force to me, it's just the Quantum Ranger, bro. That's another one I wanted to be. I wanted to be Eric, bro. And I feel like it was really the ending. The ending, because we never knew. The story was Wes had to die. Wes had to die for the next Rangers to keep going on with the generations. And then another thing about Time Force I really didn't think about until just now, because I forgot. Is it Wes, is Wes Sky's dad from SPD, or was it his granddad or something? Or great-great-granddad, because remember, in SPD, Sky wanted to be the Red Ranger because his father was the Red Time Force Ranger.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
That was
that's another thing that come up with time travel where you got to think. You're like, I forgot about that. And then their crossover was sick too, where who came to theirs? I forgot who was before. It was before Time Force. Wild Force was after. I remember them going to Wild Force. That crossover was sick.
Time Force's Lightspeed Rescues before.
Oh yeah, that was sick. Lightspeed came over there. I like that because I forgot her name. The girl with the wings, the Batgirl. She was in she went to Time Force and she was able to throw hands with them. She was putting the work on them.
No, it's not her. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she is able to put some hands on them.
I know what you're talking about.
I feel like Time Force, because Time Force was definitely another one that was serious. That ending had that dark turn, where Wes was having a lot of issues with his father because it's like he wanted to be there for his dad, but he knew his dad was all about money. All his dad cared about money. Once Eric and his dad found out that, he's a Power Ranger, we need that type of power so we can make more money. And then that's when Eric was like overheard the quantum powers, and that whole quest for him getting the quantum powers was one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, that was a fun like series of that. That was a fun arc to watch.
Yeah, it was like what 3-4 episodes of just him doing that, and down. He had the powers. He went right to West Dad. He said, Mr. Collins, I have the red quantum powers. And he's like, oh yeah, well that's good, but I can't make you the leader yet because you don't have a Megazord. And he said. Then he said, well, once I get the Q-Rex, he did it. He did it all by himself, too. That's what's crazy.
Bro, yeah, it was a good... That Time Force was a great series. Like you said, the weapons, just everything they had. Their morphers were awesome. I mean...
We did talk about one of the best parts is whenever Alex came back to get his Red Ranger morpher.
Yeah,
when because... Wes was looking at him, he said, he looked just like me.
Yeah.
It's one of his ancestors. Wes is his ancestors. He's like, you look just like me. And he's all like, oh, why don't they listen to me? Then he's like, well, they really listen to you. Then Alex had this little shift to turn their heart, gave Wes back the morpher. They said, you know how to run this team better than me. It was so good, man. And seeing Eric and Wes go over from being basically rivals, really not getting along because one of them had everything growing up, the other one had to work for everything.
Yeah, because Eric's just a scumbag, but yeah.
he was just jealous because he didn't have everything. Even though Wes was so nice to him, that's the only thing I didn't understand. But then, towards the end, they became friends, and they both became leaders of the Silver Guardians together.
Oh yeah, and he saves Wes's life by giving him the quantum morpher. So yeah. So I mean, we'll see. All right, brother. Well, my number 1. We're here. We're at the number 1 spot.
Number 1, guys. Number 1.
You already know, man. Mine's Mighty Morphin, and the reason my Mighty Morphin is number 1 is because it ushers in this whole era, right? Without Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we wouldn't have anything else. You wouldn't have the Time Force story. You wouldn't have any of the other mythos that we've seen. You wouldn't have anything. It wouldn't be a show. The way that they set it up. Yeah, the way that they set it up, the way that they structured the way the villains would, the way that they appealed to children, the way that they made it just like really, it was really like friendly and engaging, right?
Super fan friendly.
Like you would watch it and you kind of felt for the characters. It seemed like an everyday life. The way that it was shot and the way that, I mean, maybe it was more so of how, because it was in the 90s, but I feel like even some of the newer ones feel that way, where it's almost shot as if you're there, like, right? Like you're in the scene and you're living the life. And I think that was a cool concept that they captured in the first one. ones is it felt real to you. Like you felt like you were really in Angel Grove when you're watching the show. You felt like when they're talking like to each other, you could like really be in the room and overhear their conversation kind of thing. It just the way that they shot, the way that they filmed, the camera angles that they chose to use within the show, it really just set up again everything for these future eras that we talked about earlier, and made the series really what it is today.
Absolutely.
So it's
I can't disagree. You can't disagree. Mighty Morphin is always going to be in the top 3, no matter what. Like, I had it at 3, basically for the same reasons. Because I just thought the other ones went a little bit above. But Mighty Morphin, I agree. Like, you can't beat it. It's so hard. Well, it's so hard to rank these shows because, like, that's why I picked this background. I don't know who made it, but look, y'all gotta look at this. This thing's like, I love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, you gotta think, right? Every villain that was created after Mighty Morphin is a spin on somebody else, right? Like Goldar is Frax. Frax is Goldar, basically. Right? Like
I was thinking Frax is more of a Machine Empire guy, basically.
But like the concept of like think like there's a Finster, right? A monster creator. There's always a Finster. There's always a Goldar, the right hand man. There's always the main villain, the Ritas, the Zeds. There's always a shift on that character, and their character model are very similar. Like you think of Frax, like I think of Frax when I see Frax, I'm like, dude, that was Goldar. Like he was written from Goldar, and that's what Mighty Morphin gave us. So that's why it's going to be on my number 1 slot.
Good spot, bro. I like your list. Good list. Great list. Fantastic list, actually. I love that list. Great list. My number 1. Of course, y'all didn't hear me say it yet, but I think it was your number 5. But it's okay. My number 1 is Dino Thunder. Because growing up, that's just where it was for me. It was right there. That's when I would come home, rush home to watch my boy Tommy Oliver back on the TV. That's what it was. And then, just like you said, him coming through as a Black Ranger, you had Trent go through his struggles, knowing that his dad is the bad guy, well, basically taken over by the bad guy. And then he was taken over for a little bit, and he had to make his way, become the good guy, and then let them know, and basically betray his dad, but to save his dad's life.
Trent was the real one, bro. Kira's still the best Ranger on that series, but Trent was the real one.
Honor slip though. I feel like he's a good Red Ranger. He's a Red Ranger. A lot of people probably don't realize, but it was his battleizer. His battleizer to me was one of the best. One of the best battleizers. Actually, even with Overdrive, I like that battleizer on Overdrive too. I didn't even mention that. But Dino Thunder's my number 1 because pure nostalgia. We had the whole history of Rangers, the new Rangers got to learn about the old Rangers, learn that, our professor is a real badass. He's the number 1 person. Like, he's the best Ranger of all time. And then he gets to join their team. And he gets to show them the way. And then I'd say probably one of my favorite episodes of all was whenever Tommy was in that coma. He had to go fight himself in the past. But it wasn't really like it was like he was fighting for his life. Because I forgot what exactly happened. I know he was morphed for a long time, and they had to get him out of that sequence. And then once he got it where he unmorphed, he was just in a coma. And then we had to fight himself as Zero Ranger 5, Green and White Ranger. It was just that whole sequence was fire. I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm actually gonna watch that after this probably.
And he just fought himself. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, dude. And then the Chasmozord and the Carnozord. The Carnozord, right? It's like the giant, like purple and blue, like.
Right, that's like all little different. Like that show had so many Megazords, it was crazy. The whole show in general, I just felt like, even the finale, I enjoyed the finale a lot, where they had to sacrifice their Dino Gems.
They had to give up their powers, like that was, and that's what makes, honestly, to me, that's what makes a good Power Ranger show, right? Like at the end of the series, that's a lot of the times what happened. Rangers had to sacrifice their powers for the greater good of humanity and fucking give up their power to save the world. And that was like Dino Thunder, like you said, I think did that perfectly. I think them sacrificing their gems like had a whole nother emotional level to the show, and just like realism to like, this is a serious thing. Like Power Rangers they don't live forever, they don't last forever. And it was just cool to see. Like, yeah, they did it well. I love that list. I think you have a really good list. I think that
I enjoyed your list too, bro.
Yeah. I think that your reasonings were solid. I think that I love
Can you give everybody a rundown of your top 10 again? So we gotta be refreshed.
So we're gonna go through it again real quick, guys. We got 10 Turbo, 9 Mystic Force, 8 Lightspeed Rescue, 7 Power Rangers Samurai, 6 Power Rangers in Space, 5 is gonna be Dino Thunder. Number 4 we got Power Rangers Zeo. Number 3 Time Force. Number 2 is gonna be Lost Galaxy, and in our number 1 spot we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, y'all.
Amazing list, guys. Let's see what we got. Mine, I got number 10. I had Operation Overdrive. 9, we got Power Rangers Samurai. I forgot to count. Number 8, we got Lightspeed Rescue. Number 7, Lost Galaxy. Number 6, Ninja Storm. Number 5, we got Power Rangers in Space. Number 4, Power Rangers Zeo. Number 3, I got Mighty Morphin. And number 2, we got Time Force. Love Time Force so much, guys. And number 1, I have Dino Thunder. So guys, let us know your top 10 down in the list. If you guys agree with us, definitely get it down in the comments. Let us know what you agreed on. Let us know what you disagree on. I know a lot of people still disagree. What, you guys both don't have SPD in your top 10? It was close. It was close.
Wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
To me, SPD, the ending. It was just the ending. Those episodes, like, it wasn't the complete ending, but some of them episodes towards the end, definitely. But the beginning ones, I wasn't too much of it. I didn't really care about the A Squad either. But hey, it was decent. I feel like all Power Rangers are decent. That's what makes it so hard to make a Power Rangers list. But guys, definitely get out of that comment section. Drop the like. Tune into your boys. Your boy Swag. Be over there streaming on Twitch. Make sure to go over to Swag streams on Twitch, man. Go chop it up.
See you guys in the next one, guys. We're gonna be dropping more videos like this. You can check us out both live on our channels whenever you want. In our Discord, we'll drop those in the comments for you, or in the about section, so you guys can join up and get all the information you need on when the next episodes are coming out. But until then, we'll see you guys in the next one, and y'all have a wonderful day.
Friends. Love you all.